Don't you love it when your dog is sleeping right where you need to stand to film your YouTube videos? I know I do. Bo, I would enormously appreciate it if you moved. I need to stand there. I know you can hear me. Can you please move? Move! Sorry guys, but I'm afraid we have some difficulties here. It appears that the spot is taken. Oh. He moved. Yeah, lie on your mattress. That's where you're supposed to sleep. Now stay there. Thank you. What is up everyone? Welcome to my third Q&A. This is a video that I'm really excited for because I'm doing it to celebrate 400 subscribers that I recently got. And I know that this video is a little bit late because those who saw my announcement video will know that I said I was going to do it within 2 weeks after uploading the video, and that video is about a month old. In other words, this video is late. Again. But don't worry, this time, it's not my fault. I said I was going to do the video about 2 weeks after uploading the video, and right up until the deadline, I was going to keep that promise. But, around the time I was due to make the video, yeah, that's the reason this video was late. I had absolutely no access to the internet for the entire week, and so I pretty much couldn't make the video up until now. But I've got my internet back, and so now I'm finally able to do the third Q&A. I'm so excited for this, so let's get going because I've got quite a few questions here, and I'm super excited for it. So having that said, let's get started with the first question. What is your favourite British action film? Without a doubt, my favourite British action film is most certainly Kingsman: The Secret Service. Fantastic film. I absolutely love this movie. It is one of my favourite action films, and I do not regret getting the movie on Blu-ray. This is a fantastic film. Who's your favourite movie director? Great question. The thing is though, it's kind of hard for me to say that I really love one specific director, because for me, in order to qualify as having a favourite director, means you consistently love most of, if not all of their movies. However, there are a few directors that do fit into this category. I'm taking off this jacket by the way, I'm feeling pretty hot. Steven Spielberg is a huge one for me, obviously. He is definitely one of my favourite film directors. I have loved almost all of the movies that I have seen him make. Brad Bird is another one that I really love. What kind of music do you like? Okay, this has got to be one of my favourite questions in the entire Q&A. But I'm just going to say right off the bat that it's going to be really bloody hard to sort of answer this question without breaking into some of my favourite songs. So, if I sing at any point answering this question, I apologise. I can't help it. For starters, I definitely have a great love for orchestras. Some of my favourite musical pieces of all time are indeed orchestral. Granted, a lot of those orchestral pieces are movie scores by people like John Williams or Michael Giacchino, but that's beside the point. Stuff like Star Wars, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, those kind of songs. Yeah, you know your main theme for a movie is good when your movie is literally decades old and people are still constantly singing that theme to this day. There's also a couple of other non-movie related orchestral pieces that I really like. Like this one. Wait a minute, why the hell does that song sound so familiar? Wasn't that song used in a particularly infamous horror game? Oh well, forget about it. It's not like I'm planning on reviewing it or anything. There are some songs in certain films like Disney movies, for example, that I really love. Like, one of my favourite Disney songs is You're Welcome from Moana. I never thought I'd see the day where there is a Disney movie where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson breaks into song. Of course, there are other Disney songs that I really like, but that's one of the first that come to my head. I also love the soundtrack for movies like The Greatest Showman. Must resist the urge to sing. Don't you wanna get away from the same old part you gotta play? Cause I got what you need, so come with me and take the ride. He'll take you to the other side. Damn it, I failed. I'm sorry that you just heard me singing like that, but I could not help myself. There are also some songs out there that are not necessarily in genres that I usually listen to, but there are definitely some little gems within those genres that I do quite like. One example is a song that I'm extremely late to the party because it's been out forever and I only just recently found out about it, is the song Zombie by the Cranberries as well as the cover by Bad Wolf. Another head hangs lowly, Cheyenne is slowly taken, and the violence causes silence, who have we mistaken? Where the hell did this microphone come from? But my favourite genre is without a doubt hard rock. If your song contains heavy hard drums and distorted guitar, there's a good chance I'm going to like your song. Unless it's screaming. I think screaming at times can be a little bit too much for me. So I'm going to list out a bunch of my favourite songs that are within this genre. There's one song called Out of Control by Hoobastank. I also quite like Bring Me to Life by Evanescence, and no, I do not like that song ironically. I'm not into it because it's a meme or anything. I actually like it unironically because I genuinely like the song. So I don't really see it as a meme when I'm listening to it. I genuinely think it's a catchy song. Weird Al Yankovic is a guy I think is really, really funny and really talented. I absolutely love some of the parodies he has done.
Now I'm mumbling and I'm screaming and I don't know what I'm singing. Crank the volume, ears are bleeding. I still don't know what I'm singing.
Oh yeah, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. That's another one of my favorite songs. There's also some songs that I really like by Fall Out Boy, such as My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, The Phoenix, Immortals, Thanks for the Memories. One night and one more time, thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. Okay, seriously, I have got to do something about this microphone. Another song I also quite like is Toxicity by System of a Down.
Yo, what are you on the world? How do you own disorder? Disorder. No, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder, disorder, disorder.
And then there's my all-time favorite band, Skillet. I love Skillet. Yeah, I know, a lot of my friends and family like to make fun of the fact that my favorite band is literally named after a frying pan. But I don't care, I still love this band. You may have heard me reference them a couple of times in some of my previous YouTube videos, but they are by far my favorite band. I could list off a ton of songs by them that I absolutely love. Feel Invincible, Out of Hell, The Resistance, Alive and Awake, Circus for a Psycho, Sick of It, Whispers in the Dark, Back from the Dead, Those Nights. I could go on. But my number one favorite song of all time is definitely their song, Monster.
I feel it deeper than it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become. The nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster.
I love the song so much I even attempted a drum cover of the song. Oh, God's sake! Ah! Oh. Oh, God! I was a natural. And those are largely what I really love out of my songs. There's probably a few other stuff that I kind of missed, like certain meme songs that I really like.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Okay, I'll stop, I promise. And that's really mostly it. And I spent way too long answering that question, so we're gonna move on. And hopefully I can give shorter answers to these upcoming questions. Out of all of the videos that you have ever made, which one is your favorite and why? This is an excellent question, and out of all the questions in the Q&As, I think this is the one that I have the easiest answer. In my opinion, my absolute favorite video that I've done so far is without a doubt my review for the TV show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. This video is a movie-long review where I go into serious detail about the show and pretty much publicly announce on YouTube that I am a brony. And so, since I was doing that and I was making that kind of statement, so as a result, I was a little bit nervous posting the video because I wasn't exactly too sure how my subscribers were going to respond. But I was surprised and relieved to see that the response that that video got was overwhelmingly positive. And I found out there are indeed quite a lot of people that are bronies that watch my channel, so that's awesome. I've received several different comments from other bronies telling me that they really enjoyed the video, because they felt like that I wasn't just a random troll that was only reviewing it just to criticize it, but they were really glad to see that I was going to give it a fair chance, and I reviewed it for what it was. I wasn't judging the whole show just because it's a show that's made for little girls. I was judging it based on the content and the quality of the show itself. And so a lot of fans of the show really thanked me for approaching the show in such a mature manner. And I think it helps that I was serious. I wasn't lying when I said I liked the show. I've also received a couple of messages who weren't bronies before, who watched my video, and they felt like that I made some really strong points, and so they ended up checking out the show for themselves and came back telling me that they actually really liked it. Which was my exact intention when I did that review. So considering I've been getting that kind of reaction out of the review, I consider it a success. And on the complete other side of the spectrum, a lot of non-bronies told me that they were really entertained by the review because I was quite fair to it, and a lot of people just told me that they thought the first half of the review was hilarious. And yeah, I agree. I personally think that it is by far the funniest video I have ever done. So in short, I think I really got the message across as to why I like the show and why other people love the show, even though there's actually some points I missed. I put a ton of time and effort into it. I have never worked harder on a video than that review, because I wasn't exaggerating when I said it took me half a year to finish it. And above all that, I personally think it's the funniest video I've ever done. I think it's even funnier than my Cool Cat Saves the Kids review. And that's why it's my favorite video I've done. So if you haven't seen that video, I strongly recommend it. It's my personal favorite video that I've made.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, unfortunately, this is not the Krusty Krab. However, if you're looking for directions to get to the Krusty Krab, I do know someone that lives in a pineapple under the sea. Are you planning on making more Battle of the Flick videos? Holy crap, I can't believe people are still watching that. For those new subscribers who only just started watching my more recent content and you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Back in the early days of this particular channel, way back February 2016 I believe, I did a video where I compared Jumanji to Zathura. And it was a pretty successful video, and while I don't really get that many comments on it, it's by far one of my most viewed videos on this channel. And I'm not exactly too sure why, because I honestly think it's also one of the lower quality videos on this channel. I mean, if I was making that video again, I would have approached it completely differently. Right down to the final verdict, I'm not proud of the points I made, and I'm not proud of the movie that I chose as the winner. I think it's a very dated video, so I don't really look at that video too fondly. But a lot of people do quite like the concept of me comparing two similar films to each other and trying to determine which is better. So, do I intend on bringing that back? And the answer is no, not really. I mean, I do keep it at the back of my mind, and I have considered bringing it back a couple of times before, but I've just got a bunch of other videos that I want to make instead. So I devote my time to those videos I'm more motivated to make, and I've kind of swept Battle of the Flicks under the rug. I might bring it back someday, because there's a couple of ideas that I've kind of toyed with doing, like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them versus Rogue One. But for now, I think I'm going to make other videos instead. If you could be one DC or Marvel character, who would it be? Spider-Man. Without a doubt. I would absolutely, without hesitation, pick Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. I love the concept of swinging through New York from building to building. I would definitely pick Spider-Man. What are your top 5 favorite Disney films? There are so many great Disney movies, I couldn't just whittle it down to 5. So, I'm just going to name a bunch of Disney movies that I really like. Excluding other companies that Disney owns, such as Pixar or Marvel, my absolute favourite Disney movie is Zootopia. In the past, I've made a fuss about how much I absolutely love Zootopia. I loved it right when I first saw it in cinemas, considering I saw it literally day one as it hit theatres in Australia. I do not regret buying the movie on Blu-ray, and it is still my absolute favourite Disney film that isn't by Pixar or Marvel. If you do include Pixar, I absolutely love Inside Out and Toy Story. Those are my two favourite Pixar movies. And there's going to be a bunch of other Disney films I'm going to feel terrible not mentioning, so I'm just going to mention a bunch of other Disney films that I really love. Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, The Lion King, The Great Mouse Detective, The Emperor's New Groove, extremely underrated that one. Both The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, 101 Dalmatians, and The Princess and the Frog. Again, there are probably some other ones that I'll probably think of during editing, and I will probably feel terrible for not mentioning them, but those are some of the ones that I can think of at the top of my head that I would consider some of my favourites. I know that's a lot more than 5, but I don't care, I could not whittle it down to just 5. Are you hyped for Avengers Infinity War? Yes, I am excited for Infinity War. I don't know if I will be able to see it in cinemas, but I really want to. And I probably will review it if I do get to see it. But as some of you guys know, I'm the last person to see literally everything, so it might be a while. Do you think the How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda movies should get spin-off TV shows? In my opinion, no, not really. The main reason why is because I'm not super obsessed with either Kung Fu Panda or How to Train Your Dragon. I don't own any of the Kung Fu Panda movies, and as far as How to Train Your Dragon, I only own the first movie on DVD, and that's literally it. I think they're good, decent, fun movies, however, I wouldn't call them masterpieces. I think they are just perfectly harmless, fun movies. They're definitely some of DreamWorks' better films, but I wouldn't say that I absolutely love them. And so, when I see that these two shows are getting constant new TV shows and spin-offs, I really feel like DreamWorks is milking this series dry, and I'm almost kind of getting sick of them. And I don't even watch them. So, short answer, no, I don't. I'm excited for How to Train Your Dragon 3, but that's about it. I also know the question had to fill in plot holes, and I don't really think there are that many plot holes in either of those series. And even if they were, I don't think they would be significant enough to warrant making an entire TV show based on it. Are you excited for Incredibles 2? Hell yes! Incredibles is one of my favourite Pixar movies. I remember seeing it in cinemas when I was 3 years old. It was the first movie I actually saw in cinemas. I loved it, I still love it, and I cannot wait for the second one! Bring it on!
Is this the Krusty Krab?
I could have sworn I already answered this question, but no, it's not. What is the first animated movie you saw in cinemas? Okay, quick camera change. I had to change my camera because this one ran out of tape, so there was no more room to finish filming this video, so I had to switch to my DSLR. And that's why this video looks so different all of a sudden. And I only just now realised that I've been filming this entire Q&A and I forgot to put my Back to the Future hat on. I'm going to rectify that. That's better. What a crime that I actually forgot to put this on before I hit record. Now back to the question. The first movie I saw in cinemas, I think I accidentally just answered that question. The Incredibles. That's the first movie I ever saw in cinemas. And I loved it as a kid, and as I said, I still love it now. So, yeah, that was it. What do you think of the song Heavens by 21 Pilots? Very specific song. Now, I know that you said that you love the song, and that's absolutely fine, but after I had to listen to it myself, I've just got to say, I'm not a fan. I really don't like that song. Music is art, so it's all personal preference, so if you like the song, that is absolutely fine. But it was just way too dubstep-like for me, and it's just a genre that I do not like. Really heavy electronic dubstep stuff, I do not like that kind of music. What's your favourite movie that you have never discussed? That is an excellent question, because there are some fantastic movies out there that I really wanted to talk about and review on this channel, but just have never been able to get around to it because I just never have the time, and other videos just take higher priorities. And there are quite a few movies out there that I haven't really spoken about, but I absolutely love, and I want to make videos on them eventually. First, there's a couple of videos that I have briefly mentioned on this channel before. but I never had the time of making a dedicated review where I go into full detail. One movie is Whiplash. I absolutely love Whiplash. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's phenomenal. I really want to buy the movie on Blu-ray. I did briefly mention it in my favorite movies video as an honorable mention, but I do want to find an excuse to be able to review the movie where I can go into much more in detail as to why I absolutely love it. But yeah, fantastic film. Monster House is another great one. I recently watched it again because I grew up liking it as a kid, but I was never too sure as to why I liked it so much. And as a teenager, I watched it again on Netflix, and I even have it on DVD, and I found myself really loving it. And I'm like, why do I love this movie so much? And then I found out that it's directed by Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg. And I was like, oh. So that's why it's so good. Yeah, so it's basically an animated film by the same people that made Back to the Future. That would explain why I thought it was such a great movie. And it's also extremely underrated. It's a really great movie. The Raid is another one. It is a very brutal action film, but damn, I love it. There's also Emperor's New Groove, The Road to El Dorado, and Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Those are all movies that I love, and I may have briefly mentioned them on my channel before, but I would love to give them all dedicated reviews someday. I have no idea when though. Would you ever consider getting a Letterboxd account? When I first read this question, I had absolutely no idea what this app was, so I'm really glad you described it to me. But after you described it, I ended up doing a little bit more research on it, I looked into it, and I instantly fell in love with this app. And so, I'm not considering getting an account because I've already got an account. This is my username. I try to make it as close to my actual username as possible. And so, yeah, I'm using that app. Thank you so much for telling me about it because I never would have found out about it if it wasn't for you asking this question. So, yes, it's a great app. I love it. I think the biggest problem I have with this app is the fact it's dedicated to movies exclusively. And so it's kind of a pain to me that I can't do the same things for TV shows as I can do for movies on that app. So if they are able to expand the app so you can also do TV shows, that would be fantastic. What's your favorite album? As I said earlier in this video, Skillet is by far my favorite band. And so, naturally, my favorite albums are going to be by Skillet. So, these albums right here, all of which by Skillet, yeah, these are some of my favorite albums. I think out of the three, Unleashed might have to be my favorite because while Awake has my favorite song, Monster, Unleashed is the only album where I absolutely adore every single song on that album. The other two have some songs that I love more than any of the other songs on Unleashed. However, they also have a couple of other songs that I don't like quite as much. I think Skillet tends to get better and better with each album, to the point where I almost bought some of these albums on physical CD. Yeah, if you couldn't tell already, I'm kind of obsessed with Skillet.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
I'm not even gonna finish it this time. What movies are you planning on seeing in 2018? There's quite a few movies that I would really like to see, and so I can't be bothered trying to name them all right at the top of my head, so I'm just gonna name them out right here. These movies right here. These are the movies that I'd like to see the most. What's your favorite movie score? Please don't make me pick. There's so many to choose from. Yeah, there are a ton of movie scores I absolutely love. I love the main score for Mission Impossible, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Inside Out, Harry Potter, Superman, Speed, Doctor Who. Okay, I know Doctor Who is a TV show and not a movie, but it's one of my absolute favorite scores, so even though it is kind of cheating, yeah, Doctor Who is one of my absolute favorites. Have you finished reading the Harry Potter books? Nope. I'm only up to the climax of The Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm a really slow reader. But it's not because I find the books boring or anything. In fact, I'm absolutely loving it, and Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie in the series, so yeah, I'm having a blast reading the Harry Potter books. I just seriously procrastinate on finding time to sit down and read them. But so far, yeah, I'm loving these books. It's just going to take me a long time to finish them. It doesn't help that there are some other stories that I really want to read as well as Harry Potter. In fact, there is one book I really want to read, and it only just came out recently, and that is The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moresi. Jenna Moresi is a YouTuber who gives writing advice, and I think she is hilarious. I find her inspiring. She gives really helpful tips and advice. She is a huge inspiration, so I'm now into writing just as much as movies, and I really want to read that book. But it's a very long book, so that means if I read it, I'm going to take even longer to finish Harry Potter. Do you like anime? That's a tricky question. Do I watch it? No, not really. I don't really watch anime, mainly because I've just never really had the time to find one that has a concept that sticks with me the most, so I don't really watch anime at all. But I have absolutely no problem with the style. In fact, I actually quite like the anime style. I've just never been bothered to actually sit down and watch one. Well, except one. I do own the anime of Del Toro Quest, which is based off Australian kids' books. And I absolutely love that show, but it's the only anime I've seen. What are some of your favourite TV shows? I think I've made it pretty friggin' obvious by this point that one of them is by far My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, so I'm going to mention some other ones that I love. There's another TV show that I absolutely love, and this is the one TV show that I keep on darting back and forth on whether or not I prefer it to MLP. And the funny thing is, I actually started watching this other show because of MLP. Because in MLP, there is an extra that looks a lot like David Tennant. So out of curiosity, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of doing research, and now I am obsessed with Doctor Who. I absolutely love Doctor Who, and it's now one of my favourite 2 TV shows, the other of which being, you know. I love both of these shows, and these are my 2 absolute favourites. I don't really know which one I prefer. I think MLP and Doctor Who are kind of interchangeable, so I love them both. There is another TV show that I just finished watching the first season, and I'm planning on reviewing it, and that is The Good Doctor. Fantastic show. I strongly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I also love the animated show The Spectacular Spider-Man. Josh Keaton, in my opinion, is the definitive Spider-Man in just Spider-Man in general. Out of all of his interpretations and incarnations, in my opinion, Josh Keaton is the Spider-Man. And apart from Josh Keaton, I just think it is a fantastic show, and I think it's overall my favourite incarnation of Spider-Man. The only thing I don't really like about that show is the fact it's really short because it got cancelled within the first 2 seasons. Do you prefer live action or animation? Great question. If I was a child, I would have said animation in a heartbeat. I used to have this mentality that anything that was live action was boring. But now, honestly, I love both. I love live action films, but I also love animation. And when I'm reviewing a movie, I don't really judge it depending on whether or not it's live action or animation. And I can't really pick one because they are 2 completely different things. They're like comparing apples and oranges. So, I just gotta say, I love them both the same. I can't really pick one. Have you seen Jumanji 2: Welcome to the Jungle? Much to my surprise, this is by far one of, if not my most frequently asked question. Seriously, I kid you not, there are more people asking me for my thoughts on the new Jumanji movie than people asking me for my thoughts on The Last Jedi. And simply put, no, I have not seen it yet. I probably will eventually because there are so many people asking me for my opinion on it. So, yeah, I probably will watch it, but I was not a fan of the trailer. I do really love the cast that's in it. I love Dwayne Johnson, I love Jack Black, but the trailers actually genuinely made me angry. I know I said I was extremely optimistic about it in my Battle of the Flicks video, but looking at it now, and I'm extremely skeptical. Even if it's been getting really positive reviews. But I probably am just going to bite the bullet and see it for myself to see how good or bad it is, because a lot of people tell me that they actually really like it. What are your thoughts on The Last Jedi?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And that is all of the questions I've received, so thank you all for watching. I hope I gave you an answer that you were satisfied with. Stay tuned till my next video, but until then, yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers!